製造業を促進させていくこと、それから課税対象を拡大することによって、税収の増加を図っていくこと、それから貿易、特に輸出ですね、こちらを促進をして、貿易赤字を少しずつ解消していくこと、こちらがですね、今回の政府が取った間接税への施策、提案というものから見て取れます。で、今回の国家予算の発表を受けまして、関税、物品税、サービス税、いずれも一般税率に変更はございません。で、簡単なおさらいとなりますけれども、間接税の種類をですね、国税、それから地方税に分けたものがこちらのスライドになります。で、国税には関税、物品税、サービス税が含まれます。で、それ以外の例えば付加価値税ですとか、入域税、オクトロイ、プロフェッショナル税、それから高級品税、エンターテインメント税、こういったものは地方税という分類になっております。で、今回の国家予算の発表で影響を受けるのが、この左側の国税であります関税、物品税、サービス税ということになっております。で、まず関税についてなんですけれども、先ほどお伝えしましたとおり、総じて基本関税に変更はございません。ただですね、こちらの表に記載しておりますような品目につきましては、それぞれ税率の引き下げ、または撤廃というものが提案されております。で、こちらの次のスライドにも関税の引き下げの対応が取られている品目というものをいくつか挙げております。例えばですね、カラーテレビ用のブラウン管の輸入にかかる基本関税というものが今回の対応で免税となっております。で、先ほどのスライドにもですね、19インチ以下の LCD および LED テレビパネルの基本関税、こちらについても免税措置が取られております。それからパソコンの、製造に使用されるですね、原材料ですとか部品に関しても特別関税の免除ということが提案されておりまして、これによってインド国内でのテレビ、パソコンの生産を促進させたいという、政府の意図が見て取られます。それから太陽光発電にかかる各原材料で、前のスライドにも記載がございます。例えば風力発電で使用されるベアリングの製造用部品ですとか、こういったものに対する税率の引き下げも提案されていることからですね、太陽光発電ですとか風力発電などといった再生可能エネルギーの促進についても注力をしたいという政府の姿勢が見て取れます。それからインド産の奇跡ですとか衣料品の輸出、これをですね、さらに増やすという目的で、これらにかかる輸出関税の撤廃ですとか、輸出製品に使用される装飾品などの免税輸入金額の引き上げ、こういったところも提案が行われています。一方で、こちらのスライドに一部記載しております品目については、関税の引き上げが行われております。例えば、圧延ステンレス鋼の輸入にかかる基本関税が 5% から 7.5% に引き上げられておりますけれども、これはインド国内の鉄鋼業界の余剰能力、こちらをですね、さらに活用をして、国内の製鉄業、それから鉄鋼業界、こういった業界のですね、活性化を図るための施策の一つとなっております。それから国内製造品と輸入品の均衡を保つために、輸入電子製品には教育目的税が新たに課税されたりですとか、天然資源を節約するためにボーキサイトの輸出税が引き上げられるといったような施策が行われます。その他ですね、石炭ですとかダイヤ、原石にかかる基本関税率を合理化させることで、通関時に発生しておりました品質の違いによる係争ですとか紛争、こういったものを回避してですね、通関のより迅速化というものを図ることが提案されております。それから通関書類を提出する窓口を一本化するシングルウィンドウプロジェクト、こういったものの導入も提案されておりまして、これによって通関手続きの簡素化というものが見込まれます。で、これらに加えまして、24時間対応の通関手続きを行う場所をですね、例えば新規で13の空港、 そして14の港湾、こういったところで開始をする取り組みが行われます。こういった対応によりまして、通関手続きの簡素化、迅速化、そしてさらには貿易の促進ということをですね、が見込まれます。で、ご参考までにちょっと下記に記載をしておりますけれども、今回バゲッジルールというものも修正が行われまして、今まで空港のデューティーフリーで購入したタバコの非課税の持ち込み許容数というものが200本だったんですけれども、今回のその改正で100本までに引き下げられましたので、喫煙家、愛煙家の皆様には少しちょっとネガティブなニュースとはなっております。
それでは引き続きまして、当社のダイレクターを務めます NP サハニよりエグゼクティブサマリーをお話しさせていただきます。サハニは元財務省高級官僚を務め、所得税庁事務次官、年次財政法案の制定委員メンバー、租税条約制定団の代表メンバーなどを歴任し、現在は政府からは離れておりますが、その豊富な経験を生かして、税務諸省、税務オピニオンの形成を中心にコンサルティング活動を行っております。それではよろしくお願いします。
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud privilege to present an executive summary of the budget 2014, which has been presented by the new government within, I should say, 45 days of taking over. And in such a short time, they had their own constraints. And if we look at the economic condition of the country, we find that India is facing challenges with the growth rate being less than 5%, inflation being very high in 2 digits, and fiscal deficit at around 4.5% in 13-14 financial year. And the tax GDP ratio also very low, and the tax base is also very low because the agricultural sector is not subjected to tax in India. With these constraints, the new government, the NDA government headed by Mr. Modi, had a tough time to lay down the policy. And I must say that they have not only announced measures but indicated the line that the government has to follow to revive the economy, to give a boost to the manufacturing sector, to give boost to infrastructure sector, and the sectors which have been neglected so far. And in that, foreign direct investment has been one of the main aims, and for that they have introduced certain steps in the budget itself. Another area which has been bothering the foreign investors was retrospective amendments. As you all know, the Vodafone case is a well-known case, and I don't have to give a history of that case, although I represented the government in this case before the High Court. After having won before Supreme Court, it was really unfortunate that retrospective amendments have put the entire clock back, and the new government has given, though they have clearly said that we cannot deny the sovereign right of making retrospective amendments, but at the same time they have almost given an assurance that retrospective amendments would be avoided, and if at all these are there, then they will take care, exercise all possible precautions, and have the judicious approach in mind, having regard to the economic requirements and the overall investment climate. So this is a very healthy statement which has come in the budget, and I think the foreign investors can take it that retrospective amendments are things of the past. Now, coming to the stable tax regime, I must say the government has taken investor-friendly and growth-oriented steps. My colleagues Suzuki-san and Yamane-san, they have already dealt with the budget proposals under the head direct taxes as also the indirect taxes, and the colleagues, the speakers from SMBC have also dealt with the economic conditions, and with this background we can look forward to a very healthy economic development of the country. I would not take much time in dealing with the specific issues, but some of the areas where the government policy is very clear, and that is GST is one area where they have given an assurance that we'll try to introduce it as early as possible. They have also announced constitution of a high-level committee to interact with trade and industry on a regular basis to know areas requiring clarity in tax laws, and they'll be coming out with such clarities. I think this, I say some of the countries are following this system, particularly for instance, Singapore is one country where they give advanced clarifications which help in taking decisions to any investors. Then these international financial reporting standards and adoption of Indian accounting standards is another area where convergence is taking place. The government has also announced setting up of Expenditure Management Commission.
ありがとうございます。それでは引き続きまして質疑応答に移らさせていただきます。もしご質問がある方はお名前と所属先名をご教授いただいてご質問いただけますでしょうか。
はい、一新インディアの田中です。ありがとうございます。本日アメダバードから来た関係でちょっと関連するところも含めながら4点ほど簡単に確認と、質問ができたらと思います。まず1点目はパワーポイント8枚目にありますメトロ開発の促進ということで、本年度予算10億ルピーがアメダバードと、酪農の方にということで、素人考えですけど10億ルピーではとてもメトロはできないと思うんですけれども、これはやはり ODA を含めた形での何らかの助成金なり補助というものが入るのでしょうかというのが1点目。2点目はそのすぐ下なんですけれども、ちょっと不勉強でして、その PPP フレームワークの今までの弱点というのは何だったのかということが、お伺いしたい2点目になります。で、3点目の方スライド変わりまして11枚目のスライド、本当に簡単な確認です。 e ビザの導入ですけれども、これは、基本的にしてあるいは期待して、サマータイムを導入するというような、考え方というのは今までありましたでしょうか。パキスタンの方ですでに導入されておりますので、この点について、インドの場合年中夏だろうって感じですけれども、この4点についてお願いいたします。
Thanks. I think the question that you have put has to be divided into 4 parts. The first part, which pertains to allocation of 1 billion for Ahmedabad Metro project, whether it is sufficient. I agree with you that it is not sufficient, but kindly see they have only provided out of the present kitty. and this is not the total amount which they are going to contribute for the project, and it's very clear. Not only for this project, you will notice that there are at least 50 announcements in the budget where they have said 50 crore, 100 crore, 100 crore, 100 crore, so that you cannot say as sufficient, but that is sufficient for making a beginning. And then they are expecting that it is not going, the entire cost is not going to be met out of the budget, but there will be finances available either from private sector or from foreign direct investment or from other agencies, depending upon how the project takes place. But so far as the beginning is concerned, I think 1 billion which they have allocated for purposes of the project cannot be said to be on the lower side. Certainly it is not the total cost.
This is actually at feasibility study stage. So this may be just the consultant's cost. They will of course allocate more funds in the next year's budget. So from most of this is more like an intent than actual action.
Then second part, what is the problem with the existing PPP? Well, somehow or the other, these have not been very popular or successful. But the government, the present government, the new government I should say, they have come forward with a solution, and they want to encourage this private-public participation so that the projects in hand are successful. So there is a change between implementation. It is not, I mean, the policy is there, earlier also it was there, now also, but implementation of that, the intention is to somehow see that these projects are through and they serve the purpose for which the scheme has been introduced. So far as the e-visa on arrival is concerned, yes, they are going to relax it, and this will be of great help to foreign visitors. Coming to the summertime introduction, I think the present government believes in doing work, and already they have introduced, in the Prime Minister's office, they have introduced long hours beginning from 9 a.m. in the morning and 6:30 in the evening.
And maybe they are thinking of doing 6 days working for all government offices of the federal government. So probably Mr. Modi himself is quite hardworking and known to be a workaholic. So already bureaucrats, they are even getting data from golf courses of bureaucrats playing golf on weekdays.
No, that's the intention is that the pending work must be disposed of, and I think they are going to issue some guidelines. Already the other day I was reading in paper that they have laid some time limits for disposal of certain applications or proposals which are coming on automatic route, saying that within 15 days you will give a reply, within 10 days you will do this. I was reading just in the paper, I think they had listed about 15 or 17 items, but it's a healthy trend, and if they lay down the time limit for any for all sorts of clearances which are required, it would do a real good to the investors, whether they are the Indian investors or they are the foreign investors. Today, the time being taken in giving clearances, that is too long, and I think nobody would like to wait for government approvals and clearances for an indefinite period, especially when there is no reply coming from the authorities. That I think the Modi government is going to take care of. Any other question, please?
これはもう100% そうなるっていうふうにもう決まっていると考えてもよろしいんでしょうか。またそれで決まっているのであれば、それは時期的にいつ頃その 49% になりそうかっていうのをちょっと教えていただきたいと思います。よろしくお願いします。
I think DIPB is going to issue a press note very soon. Once this is, budget before it is presented in Parliament, it has to be, of course, cleared by the cabinet. FDI change in percentage can be done, it's an executive decision. But I think since they put it in budget, the budget will be passed and a notification will be issued by DIPB. So it is just a matter of time, another few days.
一応こちらで一旦質疑応答を切らせていただきまして、またご質問がある方はですね、懇親会の際に2人に直接ご質問していただければと思います。で最後にですね、弊社のマイルバトラからですね、閉会のご挨拶をさせていただきます。
Ladies and gentlemen, many thanks for taking out your precious time to come here and giving us an opportunity to make these presentations. I will also take this opportunity to thank Kakita-san, Suzuki-san, Umeyama-san and Watanabe-san from SMBC for collaborating with our company for this event. And I hope you found the presentations interesting. From my viewpoint, of course, my colleagues and our friends from SMBC have done quite a detailed presentation. I'll not take much time. Just say that 2 or 3 things is sure. One, there is a directional change in this budget, or since this government has come. Last 4-5 years, especially in our previous government, was of confusion, inaction, lack of clarity of policy. Even if they announced a policy like FDI in retail, lack of consensus in the political class. I think those days are behind us. It's going to be surely अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं, I believe, and there is a clear vision. What makes me happy is that budget is very much in line of vision document of Mr. Modi. He issued a vision document, then before election, then there was a manifesto issued by his party before the election, seeing which those policies lot of Indian people voted for him. This budget is very much in line with those, whether you talk about smart cities or investment in educational institutions, healthcare, a push to infrastructure in form of push to the railways or push to the metros or push to highways, port projects. This is what he talked about. So there is a beginning and an intent budget. This is probably what best he could have done in 45 days and with limitations of poor economic situation which he got from the previous government. And what is more important here for us in this room is that I am sure that for Indo-Japan relationship, surely अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं. Good days are knocking, because as a consulting company we have a lot of Indian customers which are large customers, from public sector owned Indian companies to private companies. I see in last few months everybody talking about how to do business with Japan, whether it's inviting investment, technology or trade. So there's good opportunity, and this is to do with of course Mr. Modi's push towards Japan. He's probably given some instruction to most of his bureaucrats, at least in the public sector companies owned managing directors or presidents, that they have to find some Japan linkage to grow their businesses. So it is good for surely Indo-Japan business, and maybe in next 5 years substantial progress will be made. Thank you very much once again, and I'll request you all to join us for cocktail and dinner. Thank you very much.
これにて三井住友銀行マリュール・バトラー会計事務所共催2014年度国家予算セミナーを閉会いたします。1点お願いがあります。お手元の資料、テーブルの上の資料にアンケート用紙がありますので、そちらにご記入をいただいて、弊社もしくは三井住友銀行のスタッフの方にお渡しいただけますでしょうか。この後は懇親会になっておりますので、お時間の許す方はぜひぜひご参加いただいて、交流を深めていただければと思います。